There's been a lot of questions about Alex Pereira and why he wasn't fighting more aggressively against Magomed Ankalaev. He was moving back almost the whole fight. Ankalaev was easily able to pressure him, and Alex just wasn't throwing his punches, right? He resorted to mostly just kicking. Leg kicks, body kicks, head kicks, wasn't pressuring off of his jab, wasn't aggressively trying to get the knockout. Why was that? The truth of the matter is, Magomed Ankalaev was able to shut down the offense of Alex Pereira, using his own striking and wrestling techniques. Now, there is a willingness and an ability to move forward no matter what and try to get the knockout. A level of urgency wasn't there in Alex. Even after partially landing the head kick in the 5th round, he wasn't really going for the knockout that he needed. But also, a lot of the credit has to be given to Ankalaev. A lot of people have missed the reason why Alex did not want to move forward against him. So firstly, because Alex is throwing so many kicks, the natural counter to that is to pressure them. It gets them moved back because they have to throw the round kick and then retract it in stance, put it back in place, and if you just walk forward, they have no choice but to move back. And that's what Ankalaev started to do, like halfway throughout the 1st round and then into the 2nd round. In fact, Ankalaev's coach told him in between the 1st and 2nd rounds that you have to go after him straight like they trained for. And Ankalaev went straight at Alex immediately at the start of the 2nd round, pressuring him just like his coach told him to do. And that began the techniques that Ankalaev used to shut down Alex Pereira's offense. Apply pressure against Alex as well as keep him guessing. Now that could be a reason as to why Alex wasn't moving forward as much, because Ankalaev was constantly dipping, which gives a look of a takedown, faking the right hook, while also stepping on the outside of the lead foot. These are given looks of feints. This is also given a look of counterpunching, better foot position, which makes it trickier for Alex to move forward, right? If the opponent is on the outside of the lead foot, it's not easy to just move forward at them. They have the advantageous position to land a counterpunch if Alex moves forward. He was doing that from the 2nd round onward, but specifically between the 2nd and 4th rounds was where he was feinting the most, stepping on the outside of the lead foot, and trapping the lead hand of Alex Pereira, which is going to control the distance and restrict the tools of Alex Pereira. Like for an example, he can't really throw a jab the same way, which includes a body jab, one of his best techniques to apply pressure, because Ankalaev would trap that lead hand. And with him stepping on the outside of the lead foot, the angle for the body jab is different, especially when Ankalaev is moving forward. And these are all additions to the fact that he was able to pressure Alex in the first place, because Alex was constantly throwing kicks the entire fight, which is the reason why he was moving back the entire fight as well. So with that came a lot of feints, specifically with the right hand. He was showing the right hook constantly, dipping down and feinting with the right hook. This is doing two different things. It's not just the right hook that's a threat there, but it's also the takedown from the dips. Alex knows that Ankalaev can wrestle. Even though he is a striker, not to confuse him as a wrestler, he's a striker. Magomed Ankalaev is a striker who just knows how to wrestle. And that same feint was present the entire fight, and it got so much respect out of Alex. He kept moving away from the feint, and Ankalaev was also stepping on the outside of the lead foot. This is the first step to attack the opponent, either with a right hook, left straight, something like that. So it was the dips, this is giving a look of a takedown, showing the right hook, and also stepping on the outside of the lead foot. This was the common feint that Ankalaev went to the entire fight, and every single time he went to it, he had Alex moving away from him. Why is that? Why these specific feints did Alex respect so much? It's because it's hard to aggressively punch at a counter striker with a takedown threat. Magomed Ankalaev's striking style is that of a counter striker. That's where he does his best work. We saw that a few times in the fight, and that was enough for Alex to know, okay, I'm gonna go back to leg kicking. Sometimes he would move forward to throw punches. Ankalaev goes under for the takedown. That happened like twice in the fight. Or Ankalaev would move on an angle, evade the punch, and look for a counter shot. Or Alex will recognize the movement as a setup for a counter strike from Ankalaev, therefore he moved away himself to not get countered by Ankalaev. There was a lot of respect shown from Alex Pereira for the skill set of his opponent. Look how Ankalaev hops into a left angle, perfect position to throw a counter punch. Alex recognizes it and just moves away, but he knew that Alex was going to throw a lot of kicks. And Alex is also not as good on the back foot. Generally, Alex is the fighter that generally pushes his opponent back. What happens if you push back the aggressive fighter? You take them out of their element. Smart game plan for Magomed Ankalaev and his coaches. He was also using push kicks to apply more pressure and create space, which is different than the kicks that Alex was throwing. Alex was throwing round kicks. Ankalaev was throwing also push kicks and side kicks. When you're throwing a round kick, you have to swing the leg and then retract it back in place. But while you're retracting, you can easily get pushed back, and now you gotta take steps back. You have to move closer to the fence. But when you're throwing a push kick or a side kick, you're pushing the opponent away with those techniques, and they can be used as a big step forward. In moments throughout the fight, Alex was pressuring Ankalaev momentarily until he threw another leg kick. Almost every time he was throwing a leg kick, Ankalaev would immediately counter with his own pressure. And then Ankalaev started to use the lead hand trap to control the range and restrict the jab from Alex, which also includes the body jab, one of the best techniques to apply pressure. Ankalaev did a great job of limiting Alex to just throwing kicks, right? Alex wanted to throw kicks throughout the fight, and Ankalaev made sure he was going to do that, turning what many people thought was the best game plan for Alex to win into the reason as to why he lost. That in itself shows high fight IQ from Magomed Ankalaev, turning around the best game plan as the reason the opponent lost. And you can hear in the corner as well, the Ankalaev's coach is telling him to look for a counter. And then Alex's corner, in between the 3rd and 4th rounds, told him to keep kicking when it's losing him the fight. They also did tell Alex to feint more, which he didn't do that often. Alex was not feinting as much. He was very honest with his game plan and made it obvious for Ankalaev. Feints are the best way to mask the game plan or to distract the opponent of the strikes you want to throw, of the takedowns you want to commit with, whatever it is. And Alex just wasn't feinting as much as Ankalaev was. I mean, there were entire moments where he would move literally in a straight line, no feints at all, and just throw a punch after, where Ankalaev didn't do that as much. Right? Ankalaev was always working off his feints, always working off his hand traps, stepping on the outside of the lead foot, which is one of the best ways to fight the opposite stance fighter, dipping low, faking the right hook constantly throughout the fight. Even if Alex landed a jab, Ankalaev will look to counter with an overhand, very consistent with his game plan. And then in between the 4th and 5th rounds, Alex's corner told him that he has to be more aggressive. And again, they were asking Alex for more feints. They told him not to move straight back, move side to side. The strangest thing though was that Alex wasn't countering as much. There were moments throughout the fight where Ankalaev would overextend with his punches and there's openings for counters. Alex rarely ever took them. There was like one moment in the fight where he landed some good counter punches, but he just didn't seem confident in doing that throughout the fight. I don't know if it was because Ankalaev's speed or the way he was faking takedowns. Again, the feints might have been the reason for that. It kept Alex constantly guessing, and that just speaks to the level of striking that Ankalaev has. Right? Alex is always thought to be the best striker in the light heavyweight division, but in an MMA context, Ankalaev's striking is around that same level as well. I know some people would say, but what about the takedowns? It's MMA. Takedowns are always going to be a thing. And Ankalaev isn't even a wrestler. He's a striker who knows how to wrestle. He's an MMA fighter who focuses more on striking. Alex is extremely one-dimensional with his offense. He shoots almost no takedowns. That's not Ankalaev's fault that the light heavyweight division has regressed to the days of being one-dimensional. When it's supposed to evolve and everybody's supposed to be shooting takedowns and striking and all that stuff. The best striker in MMA is in an MMA context, not in a kickboxing context. It's like I said a long time ago, one of the best bases for striking in MMA is a good takedown. And in a sport where you mix the martial arts, where takedowns are present, you have to be successful with your striking as well in order to be deemed the best striker in the sport. What good is your striking if you can't even use it? Now, that's not entirely about Alex because he had impeccable takedown defense. I mean, he defended every single takedown in this fight, which is something nobody thought he would be able to do. Like, everybody thought if Ankalaev shot takedowns, he would get some of them, at least. He got none. In fact, Alex took down Ankalaev at the end of the 4th round. They didn't count it because he didn't have any top control or landed ground and pound or anything like that. He landed a very good trip. If you want to say it's a takedown or not, that was some really good technique from Alex. Alex also landed a good kicking combination. He threw a lead outside leg kick while stepping to his left. So he's moving on an angle, not only for the kick to land, but also setting up the right high kick. So he's moving in a way that's generating momentum for the power kick. After the leg kick, he changed that into a roundhouse to the head, which gets partially blocked from Ankalaev. Maybe the biggest strike from Alex in the entire fight. Maybe in the rematch, I don't know if it's wise, but I guess to increase the chances in those kind of moments, Alex would just have to go for it. If Ankalaev's going to counter and Alex respects it that much, he can't be as tentative. He has to at least go for it, get into the exchanges, and kind of just see what happens. Maybe he has good enough reflexes or react in those moments to land his own punches, but every time Ankalaev was feinting, it put a stop to a lot of what Alex was doing. So that's my breakdown for the Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev fight. I was trying to make sense as to why Alex was fighting like that and what was Ankalaev doing. I was hearing a lot of people say Alex should have thrown more, right? Alex just should have went forward and thrown more punches. But I would guess he would know that. There's a reason why he didn't. So I want to see what Ankalaev was doing specifically because I think a lot of people weren't looking at all the techniques he was using. Bro, he was feinting all over the place. Like he was constantly moving. He was taking on the outside lead foot, feinting with the right hand, dipping, hand trapping, throwing punches, and pressuring after Alex to throw kicks. These are all tools to keep the opponent guessing as well as shut down their offense. Now Alex can always just bite down and throw. He can always just force himself into these exchanges, but he had a level of respect for Magomed Ankalaev's ability to counterpunch and the threat of the takedown. It's very hard to aggressively punch at a counter striker who has a takedown threat, and that's what comes with modern MMA, the evolution of a fighter. Ankalaev is one of the few fighters in the light heavyweight division that can actually shoot takedowns decently. But the thing is, Alex has also evolved his wrestling skills to be able to defend every takedown in the fight, which I do believe in a rematch, he will have more confidence in his takedown defense. It looked like in this fight, he's going up against a guy with the best takedowns that he's ever fought in his entire career. He didn't really know for sure how his takedown defense was going to be, but now after the fight, going into the rematch, Alex should be a lot more confident in it and focus more on the striking. But he did respect the striking of Ankalaev as well, not just the takedowns. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. If you guys did, make sure to give it a like, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video.